Hi, my name is Lily Cronin. I am a junior at Siena College studying communications digital marketing, and I want to start off by talking about my personal learning experiences with certain brands and products. I personally am a brand and product loyalist. I tend to stick to my brand stores, food, and other products because I'm now comfortable with the products, my needs are met, and I know what to expect from the companies. In the past, there have been instances where I have switched from certain products and brands to other products and brands. For example, growing up, my family drank Pepsi, but I was always intrigued with Coke. Me being intrigued with Coke could have happened from the peas and red bottle or the raisiny vanilla taste that Coke has to offer. One day, there ended up being a debate back in my high school. The debate was, is Pepsi better than Coke, or is Coke better than Pepsi? Many of my classmates and I continued bickering about which one was better. My classmates informed me of what Pepsi had to offer, and I informed them on what Coke had to offer. My classmates who were in favor of Pepsi argue that Pepsi is sweeter than Coke, so right away it had a bigger advantage in a sip test. It was also said that Pepsi had a more citrusy flavor than Coke, so after learning about what Pepsi had to offer, I wanted to try Pepsi again and see if it would change my mind on liking Coke over Pepsi more. I ended up trying out Pepsi again, and I kept retrying it over and over again while also comparing it to Coke until I realized that I did indeed like Pepsi's taste a lot more than Coke. After that, I continued buying Pepsi over Coke. So I was influenced also by my family because my family is big on drinking Pepsi. Now that I also go to Siena, Siena serves only Pepsi here. There is Pepsi in the dining hall, there's Pepsi's in Casey's, so it is very hard not to choose Pepsi. So some of you may have had a similar experience with other brands and products in the past, as I did, that resulted in you making a permanent change from one brand or product to another. So why is this? Why does this happen? It all has to do with the behavior or behaviors of the consumer. The correct term for this is consumer learning. Learning is defined as a relatively permanent change in the behavior that occurs as a result of experience of self and or others. There occurs an enhancement of knowledge, skills, and expertise, which are relatively permanent. So consumer learning is defined as a process by which people gather, interpret information about products and services, and then they use this information and knowledge in buying patterns in consumption behavior. Consumer learning can be thought of as a process by which individuals acquire the purchase and consumption knowledge and experience that they apply to future related behaviors. Consumer learning may be intentional, where learning is an outcome of a careful search for information. Learning can also be incidental, where learning occurs as a matter of chance, by accident, or without much effort. So continuing on, there are four basic elements of learning, and I'll provide an example along with these basic elements. Starting off with the example, so there is a man shopping in a mall and he feels hungry. The first basic element of learning is motivation, which is a need that motivates action. So the example comes into play for motivation because his hunger needs are triggered off. The second element is cues, which is a stimulus or symbol to drive action. So this would be the smell of cakes or pastries, or a promising looking store with goodies on display for this man. Next is response, an action to satisfy a need. The man goes into the store and buys the pastries. The last basic element is now reinforcement, so which is the reward or action. So either the man ends up liking the pastry and wants more of it, or he doesn't find it good and needs something else somewhere else. Consumer learning can better be explained by understanding the nature and characteristics of learning. Learning involves a change in behavior. In terms of consumer learning, and implies that a consumer who is exposed to the marketing stimuli may react to it through its purchases and consumption. If his or her experience is satisfying, they would repeat the purchase behavior in favor of the brand. In case that they are not satisfied, they would switch over to another brand. Thus, learning involves a change in behavior. Further, this change in behavior is relatively permanent. So learning also leads to development of attitudes. Until and unless an attempt is made to change this behavior, it continues. So for example, a person learns that Pepsodent toothpaste fights tooth decay 24 hours and is better than Colgate. Now, because of this learning, he or she develops a predisposition that Pepsodent is better than Colgate. They would continue to purchase Pepsodent. It is only when another brand, say Colgate or any other toothpaste brand, begin to claim improve with data that they fight tooth decay better than Pepsodent. Would the consumer change their preference from Pepsodent to another? The change in behavior occurs because of experience. There has to be some kind of an experience for learning to occur. Now we live in a world of technology. So now marketing communications, so advertisements, publicity, personal selling, etc., as well as interpersonal communication have a big role to play in consumer learning. Companies and brands study consumers' learning behaviors, as well as their demographics and psychographic characteristics, such as age, education, income, occupation, lifestyle, values, and so on and so forth. Those characteristics also impact the knowledge base of a person and impact their purchase and consumption patterns. For companies and brands, it is all about getting to know your consumer. That being said, there are two types of learning: behavioral and cognitive. So behavioral learning theories, often referred to as stimulus response theories, focus on the premise that learning occurs in response to external cues or stimuli that the consumer is exposed to. And while cognitive learning, on the other hand, is primarily concerned with how information is processed by the human mind, how it is stored, retained, and retrieved. It emphasizes the role of gathering facts about the products or services being considered, processing those facts, and recalling them, rather than the repetition and association of rewards that are all the hallmarks of behavioral learning. So marketers yearn to be able to read their consumer's mind. If we can only understand what our consumers are thinking and feeling, and they think and feel it, we could create more effective communications and more targeted innovation roadmaps. While it's not exactly like reading your consumer's mind, understanding the consumer learning process can and will make you a more effective marketer. Understanding the psychological and physiological theories of consumer learning is critical also in enabling us to develop successful strategies and campaigns that drive awareness and consideration in purchase of our products and services. So, thank you.